Hi, I'm Janice Switlo, and Alberta was, the Premier of Alberta was upset, because Teck had cancelled its plans for an oil sands development. And his commentary reported in the news was that, well, this was because of an appearance of anarchy and lawlessness. And I just want to point out that actually it's quite the opposite. What would deter Teck from continuing? Well, their lawyers probably well understand that under treaties, only the Crown and Crown governments and subjects can take up land. And I've spoken about this in earlier episodes in terms called pipeline woes. So really, what would scare off Teck? The fact that they wouldn't have certainty of title because they do not have a deal with Indigenous nations. The fact they may not get a deal. Their finances may be tight enough to know, well, we can't really factor in the cost of doing business with the Indigenous nations who would have to give us permissions in order for us to secure actual certainty and know that we have the right to be there. And they owe those duties to their shareholders to say, okay, we're paying this kind of money, this is what we're getting. Without the permissions of the Indigenous nations, they would not get what they need to get. And as I said, it's not the fact of lawlessness or appearance of anarchy, it's the fact of Indigenous law and the existence of Indigenous nations that maintain their economic sovereignty and maintain the right to say yes or no and to allow that development or not. How long would that take to put something like that together at all? Whether you could do so at all, given, for instance, the hunger strike that was scheduled to commence the same day that Teck pulled out. Hard to know, right? Certainly a company's not going to pursue and move forward when they have a huge unknown as to timeframes, who to even contact and deal with, how to put it together, don't have their experts yet, how to do this. So I'm sorry, the Premier's greatly mistaken. The reality is that companies are becoming very aware and awake to the fact that it's not enough to get the permits and permissions from provincial and federal governments. They have to get those permissions from the owners, the Indigenous nations, and that's all I have to say.